When I used to work at my in-office recruiter job, my old manager would always tell us that when screening candidates or trying to find candidates for a role, regardless of the industry, really any job, she would always say, don't screen job hoppers. If someone's had multiple jobs in a couple years, they're a bad fit. There's patterns. And the thing is, there is some truth to that, right? There is some truth to if someone's had 50 jobs over the course of their career, pick a job, bro, right? But at the same time, as of especially post 2020 and especially in the modern world, the job market has changed a lot, right? They told us growing up that job hopping would ruin our careers. They told us that staying loyal, climbing the corporate ladder, and waiting patiently would pay off. But here's the truth. In today's economy in 2025, staying put might be the real career risk. In this video, I'm going to dive into why strategic job hopping can be your smartest move, how to do it right, and my experience with it. Think of your career like a role-playing RPG, right? Each job is a level. This whole channel is based around just, nostalgic video games, leveling up in life. And when you stay too long in one place, you're grinding the same level, right? You're gaining minimal experience, but job hopping, when done strategically, lets you level up faster, acquire new skills, and unlock better rewards. And here's the thing, guys. If you have the opportunity to get promoted in your job, if you have the opportunity to maybe go to a different department, like say you work in, procurement, or you work in legal, or maybe you work in HR and you want to get into marketing or sales, or you want to change departments completely, by all means, like interview for that position or try to get that position. I've just found, speaking to a lot of people in my personal life and myself, that a lot of times, man, like when you ask for raises, it doesn't always necessarily go the way you want. My very first SDR job in the tech sales world, I asked for a raise that I knew I deserved. And basically I was told, oh yeah, we're going to give you a 5% raise on the base salary as well as stock. And they basically issued me bullshit fucking stock that wasn't even like legit real. Like they sent me a document and it was dated in like 2019 and the year was like 2023 at this point. And shortly after that, the whole sales team got let go and the company got shut down. So in that instant, asking for a raise might have not been the best, course of action, but at the same time, I'd argue that it was actually still good because it allowed me to move on with that horrible startup I was at the time and move on to a much better, more established sales organization, which I went on to work on for a long time. And even when I worked at a restaurant when I was from about 16 when I started working there, and then I worked there all the way up until probably 4 or 5 years, so probably till I was like 2021. And I asked for a raise 2 separate times, and I actually did get a raise both times I asked. So that was actually nice, and I did bring a lot of value. I thought I was doing a pretty good job at the time in terms of what I was doing there. But in the corporate world, I see this so many times where people ask for a raise, they deserve it. Sometimes they get a raise, sometimes they do. But I've just noticed that corporations, they're going to do whatever they can to not give you a raise. And even if they do give you a raise, they're going to give you just enough so that you're kind of happy with it, but not too little where you're actually going to cause an issue, right? I've seen this happen on the back and front end of organizations. And, guys, quite frankly, there is some financial upside of job hopping, right? A 2024 survey by Resume Builder actually found that 80% of job hoppers increased their salary over the past 5 years, with 20% seeing increases of $50,000 or more. And while recent data indicates that the pay gap between job switchers and stayers has narrowed, strategic moves can lead to significant financial gains. And like I said before about, in an RPG or video games, there's different levels. Like job hopping does expose you to diverse challenges, different industries overall, teams, and accelerates your learning curve. I saw another study recently by a company called Kick Resume, and it revealed that only 17% of workers were promoted by their current company over the last 5 years, while 58% changed jobs to advance their careers. Once again, I have been a part of this statistic myself. When I worked a job making $40K as a recruiter, I felt stuck. I asked for a raise. I was one of the top performing recruiters on the team, had like the most call metrics. I was making the most submissions week on, week out. and basically was told no. Said no, like we don't give raises here, or you gotta get promoted to the recruiter 2, this BS title that they give you to do the same shit over again. And I, like I said, took matters in my own hands, and I went through various sales training and investments, and really upped my skills, and I made the jump to tech sales, and I went from making $40K to $98K the very next year. I more than doubled my income. I'd say that was a pretty strategic job hop, right? So that was a few years ago when I did that, and quite frankly, man, like job hopping, changed my life. It really did improve the quality of my life. You still have dealt with a lot of corporate BS over the years, a lot of corporate jargon, and I've seen a lot of things from the front and back sides. But I'm telling you guys, if you're in a job right now, I'm always an advocate for wanting to start a business or starting some type of side hustle. I have videos on that too. But even if you just want to level up in your own career and still work a job, there's nothing wrong with that as well. And I think there's a place for strategic, well thought off, well executed, and calculated job hopping. I don't think you should really switch jobs if you're going to make the same amount of money, if not less. The only time I'd ever do that if it was guaranteed the job would give you more free time, right? Because like if someone's making 50K, in my opinion, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go take another job for 50K unless there's some other external benefit. Maybe this job's remote and the other one's not. Maybe the benefits are a little bit better. Maybe you get a little bit more time in your day or more free time. Whatever that may be, that's for you guys to decide. But like I said, strategic job hopping can yield good results, right? And the modern job market, is quite frankly, it's like a war zone out there. I have another video, I believe, on the channel that I made a while ago about ghost jobs, and I'll probably talk about it in future videos as well. But I seen a study recently that said about 30% of job postings on LinkedIn are ghost jobs, which means that basically companies are just posting jobs that aren't even real just to filter in resumes and have your resumes on hand for when they decide to hire. And what's funny about that is damn well that they're not even going to call you most likely when the job opens up. Most likely they're just going to post the job again. So in the modern job market, right, it really has evolved. The era of staying with one company like our parents did and, becoming the VP of, operations, like I'm not saying it can't happen, but it is, to say the least, it is less likely. Not only just because of your own skill sets or your own career, just quite frankly, just the job market in general and just the economic and business world in general has changed a lot. Employers are increasingly valuing adaptability with a diverse skill set over a long-term tenure. When employers are looking to, let's say, go to market with a product, go to market with a service or scale, they want the best marketer. They want the best lead gen specialist. They want the best salespeople. They want the best software developers. They don't care if you live in Pakistan. They don't care if you live in Texas. They don't care about what you look like. They just want someone that's going to be as cheap as possible and best as possible. And unfortunately, that's the way the world's going. So it's essential to balance job changes with stability to avoid potential red flags. Like I said earlier, should you change jobs every second? No, you shouldn't. But if you have the chance to, like I said, make a strategic job hop, upskill yourself and really have a good opportunity to make either more money, have more freedom, I would definitely encourage it. And I've seen it work out for myself and for others as well. And guys, job hopping isn't about being disloyal. I'm not trying to encourage people to not be loyal to your jobs, because I do still think that you should do what, you're supposed to do, right? But it's about being intentional with your career. In a world where the job market is constantly shifting, staying adaptable is, quite frankly, key. So ask yourself, right, are you growing in your current role that you're in right now, or are you just going through the motions, right? Are you actually progressively maybe upskilling yourself or on the path to level up your career, or are you just kind of clocking every day and zoning out, right? So what steps can you take today to align your career path with your goals? If anyone watches this, wants to talk about anything resume related, leveling up their skills, leveling up in their career, or breaking into sales, I have experience in all of those things, and I love helping people do that. I actually have something outside of YouTube where I do that right now. And like I said, if anyone wants to talk about that, drop a comment below and feel free to message me. Happy to really align yourself on your goals and help you with career or just life, whatever that may be. But share your thoughts. Let's start a conversation about taking control of our careers. If anyone who's listening to this has done a strategic job hop. I'd love to hear more about it. What industry were you in? What position did you job hop to? Because I'm always curious to learn about what you guys have done and the experiences you guys have had. So level up strategy out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.